Trident Wargaming. Build it, paint it, play it.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Trident Wargaming. We are coming right hot off the heels of our 9th edition wrap-up RTT. Joined with you today, we got the four horsemen rolling out once more. I'm Bill. I'm joined with co-host Andy.
Hey guys.
Arthur.
Here with the hot takes.
And Scott.
How's it going, everybody?
Not live from the grotto today.
No.
Nope. No. Clothes on.
Finished attending penicillin.
Still has a drink, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys don't know what's under this desk, actually, so who knows?
It's true. It could just be a backdrop of an office. We don't know.
I hear there's a lot of pussy around that house.
More than usual.
For those listeners,
more than usual.
Scotty happens to be playing Warzone Kitten Front at the moment. Apparently, they're fostering some cats.
Yeah.
It's a war zone, all right.
Henceforth, for this episode, we're going to call him Cat Dad.
Cat
Daddy.
Dad.
We got a t-shirt that says that.
There you go. Got objective markers that say that, too.
Mm-hmm. It's a running theme.
So, I guess kick into some intro. This is going to be all about our 10th edition kind of rumor mill, a little bit of an episode, and then we're talking about our farewell to 9th RTT, kick off things, I guess some hobby stuff. We'll roll into that. I'll go first because I got some exciting shit to kind of drop. Yesterday, I was able to bang out a test model for my Drakari. Pissed around with that for a few hours, just trying to figure out an actual test scheme. It's nice to theorize what kind of colors you want to use, but once you actually start laying down paint, kind of where you get a feel for it. How am I going to paint my weapons? What am I going to do equipment? And then that kind of sets the template for a lot of your big projects, at least for me. Anyways, like to do one tester and then just go all in and spray the rest of the army. Commit all the way. I learned a long time ago, actually with an interview with David Brains, about when you're going to airbrush an army, you airbrush it all together, all at one time in one sitting. Especially if you got some chemistry going on and you got to add 3 drops of this to 1 part thinner, 1 part foam improver, add this color or a wash or an ink, it can get fucked up really fast. So consistency is key. That's my my hot tip for today. But yeah, I was really pleased with it. If you're looking at some of the socials later this week, I'll post a pic of it just to show you what you can expect. But they
do look hot.
Very nice.
They do, right?
It's different.
They're looking good. They're looking good.
Yeah, it's outside of my comfort zone hardcore. So were the Imperial Fists when I painted those, but I think this would be a lot of fun. So
How is it painting that style armor?
it's not power armor, I'll say that. It's definitely different, especially actually trying to manipulate the airbrush and to get some of these highlights in the really small spots. It's
pretty close to power armor though.
Maybe your Eldar bodysuits with the big smooth panels. Everything's got spikes and little jagged armor layer plates on it and shit. It's
like chaos. You should be used to
hardcore.
And I should, coming.
Yeah, no doubt.
No
doubt. I'm used to painting the trim. That's right. Getting prepped.
I was going to say the big difference is the pauldrons, right? There's no big ass shoulder blade or shoulder armor there.
That's fair. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's kind of what I was up to. Just tinkering around with that, doing a little bit of building and trying to get one step closer to that fully painted Kari army for 10th.
Nice.
Yeah. So, how about I'm going to pick on you, Scott. What are you even doing?
I'm actually working on some Marines right now because that's most of what I've got that's not painted at this point. Like I got like a few Cataphrons, the odd Necron vehicle or whatever, but it's mostly just a bunch of Marines lying around that still need some love. So I've been working on some suppressors. Well, my camera's not great here, but they're kind of in there. So we're working on some of those. I got 6 of those coming along. I got some Hellblasters and some Desolators, all the big guns.
This is
we actually... what, you say Desolators?
What? No.
That's what I heard.
No.
You son of a bitch. I thought we were playing no indirect. No indirect for 10th.
You just ordered 9 D cannons.
I thought it was all indirect 10th.
This guy. We're not doing it.
We had a miscommunication, guys.
I was gonna ask you still painting the Minotaurs color scheme?
Yep. That's these guys here, and I mean, especially with no idea of when Blood Angels will come around in 10th. That's kind of where I'll be for at least the first little while. I still have to talk to you, Bill, about sometime early in 10th. We got to set up a Bad Ab War weekend or something. Have ourselves a good fun time. See if we can drag some other Marine players into this.
I think you could get a few to crawl out of the woodwork. Bosco, if you're listening, get on that beta app shit.
There you go.
That's always been in the back of the head too for myself. Beta Bill's always kind of pushed that in the past there, but
so cool.
It's always been like a struggle of which chapter to really pick.
Now, you guys want to explain what the beta stuff is for any of our players who weren't born in the 80s?
Wow. So the Bad Ab War books, which I've currently got my camera mounted on top of, are from like 2005 or 6. So that's still...
To put that in frame of reference, in 2005, I was in junior high.
I was
already graduated for a year.
Anyhow, Bad Ab War is a really, really in-depth Space Marine on Space Marine story about a bunch of chapters turning renegade, or some of them might not say that they turned renegade, but you get the idea. And it involves a lot of the Forge World specific Space Marine chapters that they came up with. It's a really hardcore, really, really in-depth campaign that they released. It's got fluff that actually goes back, I think, all the way to the 2nd or 3rd edition. But it's really fleshed out in those old Forge World books. But the draw of it is that it's got like the 20 or so different Space Marine chapters, all of which get a whole lot of fleshing out and a whole bunch of scenarios and stuff, admittedly, that were written for like 5th or 6th edition. But I think anybody who's ever had one of the chapters from it is definitely... They dream of being able to hook up with a couple of their buds and play out, even if it was just a one-day thing or whatever. We could have a little RTT or something, or a little campaign or whatever. It'd just be so fun because it's so incredibly narrative.
Yeah. So. And this is essentially like precursor to Horus Heresy, when they were really starting to kind of flesh out some of these rules. And some were renegade traders, other were just straight up successionists. They weren't trying to be those guys, but really cool era. Well, that's it's not the executioners think either.
and not really any of the main chapters, minus the salamanders kind of were involved in the war, right? So a lot of different cool looking chapters. Some are kind of so, but definitely if you're looking for like a hobby project, something to take a look at. So,
and if you're ever looking for
when the Horus Heresy wraps up, we're going to return to some sort of campaign like Beta Ab, or are we never going to wrap up Horus Heresy? We're just going to let's investigate this thing and that thing. Like,
I think it's gonna wrap up. Like, they're gonna release the last book at the end of the Death Part 2.
Yeah.
And from there, if they were really, really smart, they wouldn't even let off the gas. They'd just jump right into the scouring and push hard, which does lead towards like late Heresy is early 40k. So as they move towards the scouring, they can slowly start introducing that storyline, which could actually lead back into Beta Ab if they wanted to.
Come full circle with it.
Yeah.
I think scouring is also, like, from a fluff perspective, from the lore perspective, it's a great big open area for both the rules writers and the lore writers to explore that doesn't have a ton of established material, but does have, some broad strokes and is an exciting thing. So I think we'll be seeing the scouring both within the game from some narrative side, but also from the Black Libraries. I think we'll be seeing scouring stuff for many years before we worry about running out of material.
It'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
Well, unlike you powered armored folks, Drakari being powered armor, I'm actually working on something that's a bit more, I don't know, it's kind of like on the eastern front of things. I think it, aligns itself to the good. Really brings out what is great in all of us. And I've been working on some crisis suits, specifically. So I'll throw a picture of these up on the Instagram. We got like metal themed bases. I really tried to get like airbrush blend gradients, and this is something where like Bill said, I airbrushed it in one day. So every single model is consistent, and when I go to add a riptide to this army, it's gonna fucking wreck everything. But I guess that's down the road. And I don't know if I'll be able to even paint another town model after I'm done with this, because with 10th coming on, I got like 9 D cannons to paint. I'm gonna have 2 fire prisms to go. I got Storm Guardians I gotta paint. I gotta paint up an Eldad, and the rest of the busted shit. Right. Mm-hmm. So
hey, just checking. What's the armor save on a crisis suit?
Who cares?
Pretty sure it's kind of power armory, isn't it? Little 3+y. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
What are you trying to say?
He said, "I'm coming for your 3+y."
That makes me uncomfortable.
Your 3.
Oh
boy.
Oh man.
Cat Dad strikes again.
Yeah, no doubt. 1 point for Cat Dad.
Yeah.
What have you been working on, Andy?
Still slowly building the other Chaos Demons and whatnot. I haven't really done any painting lately. Just, I think the last thing I did was finish off my bolt action army, and kind of been in building stages. So that's kind of where I'm at, time being. Multiple games as well, plus trying to catch up on all the 40k chatter in one of her chats, and all the posts and releases that GW has been doing. So I'm not the one that jumps on it right away. I kind of have to play catch up with everybody else. So, but yeah, some Slaanesh demons. Started to work on them. It was pretty cool to see some of them on the tabletop the other day at the event. Haven't seen any Slaanesh demons on the table for a long time, actually.
Do you think that's because people just because they haven't got the love yet? Because like it seems like people who are into Khorne demons, the Ben Taddies of the world, they fucking love Khorne demons, and the people who like to Tzeentch like that as their personality. Where are the Slaanesh demon lovers?
Don't know. I honestly just don't really have a clue, because I haven't really played them. I haven't really played the 40k in the 9th edition one. So I'm not even sure what they're really all about. I have miniatures. I have a whole bunch of demons of all the gods. So I just picked them because I think they're going to be pretty interesting to paint. Different colors that I'm not used to painting, and go from there and make some exciting little armies. And of course the newest, I should say, models that have come out throughout the range look pretty interesting as well. So it'll be interesting to roll them out in 10th and just get some games in with them and paint them up. Just add to the rest of my demons. So other than that, yeah, it's kind of just getting that ready, and then I have another bolt action army that I've been slowly building as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
What I want to kind of know. Go ahead, Scott.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that the people who like Slaanesh is kind of like their personality are much more likely to end up in jail.
Hey, now.
So maybe that's where they all are.
I was going to make a comment, Slaanesh type players. I was just kind of curious what job would be their favorite, hand or claw. But I guess we can save that for a poll later on. See how people vote. Yeah, see how people vote.
No, there's a miniature. I think it's an AOS miniature, but I can't remember what he's called. But he's essentially this gluttonous lord that's being carried by these 2 large.
Oh, the Sultan guy.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah. Like I can't
remember his name, but yeah,
he reminds me of that guy for Futurama.
That's kind of me right now. Just that'll be my miniature right there. So
What the fuck what was that bot for Futurama called? Who
the something bot? What the hell is it? Not like an erotica bot. It's something though, along that line.
You got my attention.
Yeah, I can't remember what his name is.
Hedonism bot.
Hedonism bot. That's the
bot.
one. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Look at that trivia shit you can pull out.
I just think they got the Demon Range has a whole bunch of nice new and different miniatures now that essentially try to get, built and painted and thrown on the battlefield. So
It is one of the better ranges for sure.
And it's not power armor.
It's true.
It's flesh.
It's true.
You guys are allowed to play power armor. I'm not gonna make fun of you for playing power armor.
I played enough power armor.
I will later.
I don't know, Bill. I'm still of the belief that as soon as this edition drops, you're gonna play 4 games of Dark Eldar, and then you're gonna be like, "This isn't it."
Well, once I get best painted with my Drukhari, then I'll play power armor.
Until he gets best painted with that. It's coming for you, Arthur.
Right on.
Gotta try at least. Speaking of new models like Monty was talking about, we have a new website that is live. It all popped off late Monday morning. It's been really good. If you're listening to our YouTube video, it's we hope that you went through the website to view it, because we appreciate all the support on all of our platforms. So, what kind of stuff can listeners expect to see and or read on the website?
Well, I think the predominant reason for the website is part of that Trident Wargaming circuit. So just like anyone who's played in the ITC, that international tournament circuit for Warhammer 40k, it's kind of like the source of where you can track your stats, your wins, how many points you've collected, how close you are to getting that end of the year trophy. So number one, that's on there. And Scotty B. Mathhammer over here, maybe he'll explain to you in just a minute about how that all works. But also on this website, you're going to find the links to all our stuff. So the podcast auto goes there. All our YouTube, our Facebook, pretty much all the socials can go there. But you're also getting some interviews. So we did interview Bill as the founder of Trident Wargaming, asked him some of those hard-hitting questions of, where he got into it, what's Trident all about, all that. Yeah. We have an exciting interview coming up about the comic artist of the Age of Sigmar comic Reforged. It's got 2 seasons on Warhammer Community. Comic artist Daniel Schneider. So
there we go.
That'll be coming out soon. And there's also some articles. There's a really good, in-depth, very detailed article right now on the website about 10th edition and expectations versus reality. So, kind of when we see these data sheets out here, how we can see these Eldar data sheets and acknowledge that, they're powerful. But there is a bigger alpha predator in the midst, and that is the rapid-fire battle cannon of the Knights. It doesn't matter how busted you think Eldar are, that is the most busted thing we have seen yet. Don't at me.
We won't at you. There is exactly that's just it. And I think that's something that we're going to be probably pushing for, especially as the year goes on, is getting some other articles up on there, some more excellent interviews as well. There's also some archived ones on there. I know Arthur has an older interview on there from when he interviewed Marina from Peering Power and her cosplay journey. That one's great. But we'll be having more up on there, and also I think maybe some kind of bloggy article type stuff as we're talking about 10th and bolt action and heresy and etc. But on top of that, like he said, we do have the TWC posting up there, which is very easy to access. In fact, the whole website is tridentwargaming.com. Simple as that. And we'll be updating the TWC stuff, of course, after every single event and every single league that we run. All the stats are just right up there for you to go check out. You can figure out where you are in the standings, both the global standings and also the faction-specific ones. And all the rules for the TWC are also there just as a reference. So in case anybody ever wants to understand a little bit more about what goes on behind the scenes there.
I think one of the coolest things...
Oh, I was going to say the scenes being Scott's eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things that Scotty went and did is he published the math formula. So if you're curious on how you collect points, that math is all available. And you'll notice that the points are pretty comparable to the ITC, but their formula is not public. I don't think we believe that you can't really weaponize this formula. There isn't a mathematically best way to garner points other than just getting first place and trying your best at these tournaments to play some honest Warhammer.
Yep. And for Trident events in general, it's the same thing that it goes for just the way we even run events. We want everything to be as transparent as possible. We want everybody to feel like at any given time, whether they're at an event or looking at it after, they can go and they can look and they can see how the matchups were done. They can see how they ended up on which table they ended up on. Not that should be an issue where Trident's got, at least in my mind, the best set of terrain in the city, and it's only getting better. But we want players to feel 100% like they always know what's going on. And that goes both from the events themselves all the way to how we do TWC points. So that's all there for people. And then, of course, like Bill and Arthur mentioned, all the socials are up there. You can even listen to the podcast right from the website. You can really get everything you need from there as far as Trident Wargaming is concerned.
Scotty, you won this last tournament. How many Trident Wargaming points did you win?
0.
Why is that?
Because I'm part of Trident Wargaming.
And
But if I wasn't part of Trident Wargaming, I would have won 145.96 points.
That's it. So one of the things we didn't mention here, but I think it's important to mention, is that we here, the members of Trident Wargaming that are behind the scenes running it, are not eligible to win these points.
Yeah. That wouldn't be very cool.
Some of us are going to play in these tournaments if we're not the one actively TOing it. We hope that we're going to take part in it. Maybe we can try to win a best general, maybe a best painted, but we're not there to win the circuit.
All of us guys at Trident are wargamers too, and that's part of it. Is part of the thing about involving ourselves with these events, both as TOs and players, is that we want to interact with you guys. But to make sure that, again, we want to keep everything very much above board. The Trident Wargaming members themselves, Bill and Andy here, and Arthur and myself, obviously will not be looking to score Trident Wargaming points for the circuit, because we would not want to get involved with our own prize pool. So if you ever see me kicking ass, throwing left hooks on the table, you don't got to worry about me coming up on you. So
well, just throw a couple pints at them; it'll be fine.
It's true. I'll forget all my reserves. It's very short rain I'd have. So,
oh, very good. Yeah, just to echo that point, I think the biggest thing that we can do for running events in the circuit itself is just having that above board transparency and ensuring that the community, which is what the whole circuit's made for, is getting that chance to really interact and mingle. So. It's awesome to watch the events unfold. I think our farewell to 9th RTT was a really nice way to kind of close off 9th, kind of put that to bed, and really just get ready for 10th to drop. I know with 10th edition right around the corner, we're basically on like the eve of pre-ordering a whole bunch of hype around box sets, a whole bunch of hype also around. Yeah, look at those snazzy little awards shining.
So if you're attending any Trident events, here's some of the hardware you can win. I got that one right up there for you here. We got some of the coolest merch that you can find. So
yeah, and if you're listening along, podcast style, or essentially in your car, basically it is a LED lit trophy that is controllable. You can pretty much change it rainbow style, which proudly displays your Trident Wargaming award. Looks killer on your shelf. It comes with either battery power, or you can plug it into a USB port. Or you can plug in and shine all the time in your hobby room and keep all the other shiny trophies company.
You can actually match it to your butt plug.
To the color, yeah.
or your army, whatever,
or your army,
whatever floats your boat. Yeah, we'll get a picture of that.
Your Slaneshi toys.
Yeah. we'll make sure to get a picture of one of those put up on the socials. So
The butt plugs, the Trident Wargaming official butt plugs.
did those come in yet?
No.
Sorry, my bad. Did those come out yet?
Yeah.
Ay.
Oh man. Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
You guys are fucking gross.
It's so...
Speaking of
So-
things that are nice.
Yeah, speaking of things that are nice, like I was saying, 10th edition pre-orders were on the eve of that. It's going to be really sweet. The rumors are true. We all know now that the box set is indeed $300, which is pretty much bang on for what the rumors had it listed at. So good job, rumor mill. He did well. I guess there are some rumors about allocation / caps. I've read some. I haven't heard anything about that myself. But always, with just the way some of these releases have gone in the last few months, they're a little scarce sounding. So we'll see generally what the store is going to do, what GW itself is going to do.
You know what? I think that when we see all these other things that have come out recently, like these Kill Team boxes and the Lion and everything else, all of that is coming out in the same production window as Leviathan. They're going to have so much Leviathan. It's going to be their biggest box set ever produced, realistically, with how big their business is right now. The reason why there wasn't Farsights and why there's not Lions, they're printing Leviathans.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point.
I just feel like, the stores are going to have their allocations. There's going to be enough of Leviathan for everyone. I hope the scalpers buy so much of it and they got to fucking sit on it.
Yeah, I kind of do too, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It seems like it's a pretty good set.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of those nice new models. I mean, anybody wanting to play
It's
Tyrannus,
fresh. Yeah,
Yep.
it's fresh.
right? So
Well, I know the signups I've seen definitely have a couple dozen, so or more that people are looking to buy. So I'm sure we'll be seeing a whole lot of Gravis Apothecaries and the Neurotyrants and whatever all over the city and all over social media over the next couple weeks. So
Absolutely.
oh, for sure.
I'm all in it for the Terminators, I'll be honest. That's the one squad, that and the Terminator captain, that's really my main driving force to pick up that box. Obviously, rule book and mission cards aside, but I don't know. I really like buying these Marines for the big box sets. It's helped fleshed out my executioners the whole time. Nice thing is it doesn't matter to me about the push monofit, which they're confirmed as being, just because I was clever and bought a fuck ton of these executioner shoulder pad upgrades from Popco's the Monkey.
Yeah.
So I was able to get a pretty substantial injection there with 3D printed bits to make that army very unique. Then I ended up buying more as I continue to buy more Primaris Marines and try to flesh out that army. So I'm looking forward to expanding my executioners pure Primaris force, just to make it one of those things. A couple interesting tidbits that I was reading about is the Primaris keywords kind of been removed for some squads, but now it's actual specific keywords to the armor. So I think there's Tacticus, Phobos, and Gravis now, which is kind of neat. I'm curious to see if there's going to be any limitations on some transports, or if they're going to have just armor specific strats, stuff like that.
Well, they've been showing a lot of drop pods kicking around.
Yeah.
And like in images and backdrops and stuff. So I feel like we're gonna have this open world of Marines being able to ride in Marine transports again. And I think that's cool. It's been a long time since you've seen like a full drop pod list. That hasn't been a thing in editions. For good or for bad, right?
Probably for bad.
Probably for bad.
They should have it. It's goddamn thematic as fuck.
it is.
Yeah, but like playing null deploy is kind of sucks.
Cool.
No, like playing against it can feel real shit.
It can, especially when the guy like pretty much gang fucks you in one corner of the table and boxes you in and kills all your beloved stuff.
And we don't got Auspex scan anymore. We don't got forewarned. What are we gonna do?
Overwatch twice.
That's true.
So,
I do think I've heard that the different marks of armor also have a lot of effect on which characters can join what squads, right?
Yeah.
Because characters have to match the armor. So
I've heard that too. Yeah.
Is that a bad thing? Like, did
No.
you have should
I
a
think-
Terminator captain be able to roll around with Tacticus Marines?
I like it. I think it's thematic. I think
mean,
it also
you
helps to balance
could.
the game. Because Space Marines in specific, the army list has always had an internal issue where there is a billion characters and a billion squads. And this is one of those ways, and it'll happen in other armies too, where they can kind of control the problem of buff stacking by just limiting which characters can go with which units. That really helps from the design perspective. It really helps them to rein in, stupid off the wall combos that, let's be honest, GW's never been good at spotting. They always find out when somebody tells them 2 weeks after they release the book. And so
They win like a major.
I'd like to think that they knew and they just wanted to sell models. Like the
depends on
thing
how
about the
cynical
Wraith
you are.
Knight, right? There's a story about the designer who designed the Wraith Knight and said it's this, and then they're like, we're gonna do it for this many points. And then they're like, no, give it this and this. And they're like, oh, we'll just increase the points. And then GW was like, no, we'll leave them the same. Whether that story is true or not, there has to be some degree, and I'm not trying to bag on GW, I love GW. There has to be some degree of, like, they know what they're doing.
I would assume so, but I also know, like, there's a lot, there's an old saying that says, never assume malice when incompetence will do. Right? And it's just like, but of course it's also the same thing. The counter saying is sufficiently advanced incompetence is indistinguishable from malice. So, it's kind of...
Which is it? Which saying do I go by?
Well, I'm just saying, I like to think more often than not the GW maybe just doesn't put as much work into some of this stuff as we like to hope they would. I do think they're getting better over the years. Maybe when we talk a little bit about 9th, reflecting on 9th, we can touch on that.
Yeah.
Small indie independent company makes mistake.
Well, in the 80s.
To be honest, I kind of don't really mind Games Workshop putting it out there. I've learned myself from wanting to do mission design and running, multiple events. Your best stress testers are event players.
Yeah.
If you want to see if something is
sure.
sound and then you're like, oh, this mission's so good, I made it. You throw that mission in front of 32 people and they're going to fuck that mission up and break it in ways that you didn't even comprehend. Or an interaction, there's something that's going to come up.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the nice thing about what I always liked about running my events is, especially this is more heresy based, but after the event, I would always talk to people, try to get as many one-on-ones about the mission. What did you think? Get feedback on it, and actually take all that feedback, go through the missions, and tweak them. And now those are like legit play-tested, battle-ready missions that have, a little bit of experience behind them that it's going to play to the best that it can, which is nice. And I think Games Workshop relies on these events to do that, and I don't think that's a bad thing, because the nice thing I will say about the way they roll for 40k especially is the updates are so quick. When there is a mistake, they're pretty quick, and they fix it, and it continues to roll on, and the game can keep evolving and doing its thing.
I'm kind of frowning when you say pretty quick, because I'm like, well, 90 days to 6 months. But when we think about how things were in the past, that's pretty quick.
So I'm living Horus Heresy, man, and you didn't get a fucking FAQ for like 4 years. And then 2.0, they came out with one. It was like, I think 7 months in, when they addressed some Dreadclaw and Ribdis issues. And it was like, wow, they did some shit. Like, I almost fell off my chair when I read that stuff. So, like, comparatively, 40k fast.
So
you know what? And the Dreadclaw and Charybdis are 30k models now only.
Yeah.
That's good. They fixed that.
And I don't know if that's good if they fix that.
So, like with you guys talking about how well GW does it or not, comparing GW from the chats that I've seen and you guys bringing up different rules and even your guys' interactions, the games or even the interactions of the players in the recent tournament and whatnot, compared to some of these other games that are not GW, and also knowing with 40k at how quickly or recent they come up with a new book or updated rules or whatever. Some of the other games that I've played, you're only getting like an update once a year, if that. So, and usually these updates, they're not anything substantial. It's just like fixing a slight typo or a word. Like it's not even a rule update. So, with GW going the way they are and really having a presence for 40k, and I'm sure AOS is probably the same. I think it's great. You hear, at least I hear a lot of chatter of, oh, GW is releasing another book. Now I got to go and buy another book. The sector books that you get every 3 to 6 months or whatever it is, the war zones. And it starts fixing things and lets you try different things and updates. And
fixing things, Andy.
I think that's
fixing things.
I think that's good. I think it's good that they're doing that, because a lot of times when you're playing the same game and it just there's no changes or anything, it sometimes can get stale. And of course, just different, a whole bunch of different games and comparing it, like there's really no comparison. So that's just my input from being a more prominent non-GW player than, so.
And for a lot of years, GW was like that too. So we're very lucky to have them treat us the way they do now.
Absolutely.
And realistically, the game is more balanced than ever. So for all we like to complain.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard people say that, and then they reference
right.
the 9th edition win rates of like Harlequins. And then I wonder, like, is it more balanced now? Because it feels more balanced, but is this just... I just miss 7th edition Eldar, guys.
I know.
Never go back.
7th edition broken.
Okay. You're going to get 7th edition Eldar for about 3 months at the start of 10th. So
yeah, and then they're going to change fate dice to whatever they fucking nerfed Harlequins with, and I'm not about that life.
That's why you're working on the Tau.
Yeah. There you go.
3+ power armor.
Then you'll get your sister's book next summer, and you'll be fine.
Well, I mean, somebody recently asked me, like, what army are you going to play in 10th? And I said, well, Eldar or Sisters, whatever one's better. And if both are shit, Tau.
Yeah.
You know what's nice about playing Sisters, though? Before we get into the next topic, nobody complains about it. No. People fucking bitch all the time about Eldar. Like, Eldar have hurt people bad. And like, I can't roll up to the table with a Tau without being called a weeb, and people trying to get all of my fish hussy, right? Like, nobody fucking cares about the Sisters, though. Nobody cares about the Sisters. They're happy to play. So.
Elders had that stigma for a long time, though.
Yeah.
Like, probably before you even were playing.
Yeah. Because they were always like that.
Like what?
They've always been bullshit.
they were an army that, that guy played Eldar, Like, they were definitely a that guy army.
I can distinctly remember 2 editions where Eldar was dog.
For like half the edition tops.
No, they were dog for a fifth for the entire edition.
Bill, how many editions was Chaos garbage?
Few.
More than half of them.
More than half.
The whole edition.
I'm still reminiscing about...
fucking belong.
I'm still reminiscing about the glory days of 3.5, okay?
I know. That's why they never shut up about 3.5. It was the last time they were good.
It's true.
That's not true.
Oh, they were on fire.
Frick, this is like listening to my Opa talk about the war, man. Like, it's brutal. It's been a while.
Has
everyone give it up.
So forgotten the Helldrake in 6th?
Yeah, for like the Helldrake only, though. Like, that was it. And that was also a time there were so many flyers who were wrecking the game at that point.
Yeah, like the Demon Prince that had an instant death sword. This is a topic for another discussion.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when flyers were just brought in, wasn't it?
Yeah. A lot of them were kind of new.
Yeah.
Necrons were the boogeyman then.
It's true. Flying croissants were crazy.
Yeah.
I guess yes. That this does lead us to our last topic here, which is reflections of 9th. We can talk about what we like the most, what we are happy to see go away. Does anybody have a story in 9th of what they think of? What's your fondest memory of 9th so far?
I got one.
Sure.
Okay.
First game in.
No.
First game in.
You fuck.
One game of 9th, victory over Bill. Yes,
motherfucker. Yeah.
Yes.
How does it feel, Andy? How does it feel to be like an undefeated
champion of one game of Trident?
To never lose a game against Bill.
We're getting a shirt made, undefeated.
Trident long live the king. Long live the king.
It's only going to last for another couple weeks, and then I'm going to get my ass so kicked in hard because of all you vets. I'm going to be coming in swinging, and you guys are just going to throw me a left hook, and that'll be it.
Okay.
But
easy money Bonko.
Easy money. But I'm very, very excited to lay the smack down on a couple of you guys, in the near future, 10 years from now. Just excited to come out and play and actually learn again, like 40k again, right? And learn from the masters, essentially the game and just get rolling dice. So I got beautifully painted Tizneach army ready to go. Let's do it. Get out there, work on some better miniatures, and kick some ass.
Andy, I think you really touched on something that's probably the most important attitude to have when you're coming into a new edition or a new tournament or when you're somewhat new. And that's just get excited to play the game. You can't worry so much about like wanting to win. And I know it's a game. Nobody plays chess to lose. No one wants to roll up and play a game of checkers and just get fucking rolled over, right? Like, and that's the same for Warhammer. It's a 2-player game where there's a clear winner and loser, right? And unless you get a draw, but that's rare. But for that first little while, and maybe even all the time, frankly, you have to roll up with a desire just to play a good game and have fun.
Yep.
It's true.
I would table flip that chess table, though. just saying. 40k, I won't do that. Heresy, bolt type, chess, checkers, I will table flip that shit.
You not about that, chess slave?
No.
Make a mental note about that. Arthur, what was your fondest memory?
I don't know, man. 9th had a lot of ups and downs. We didn't get to play a lot of early 9th, and I was pretty salty about early 9th because I was playing primarily Sisters then, and Sisters got a downgrade. Their 9th edition codex was worse than their 8th edition codex, and I never really got to play the 8th edition codex because of coronavirus. Mm-hmm. So it never felt really that good. And I played Sisters until Eldar came out. And Eldar felt really good. I think maybe one of the most satisfying games of 9th is the first time I rolled out with a 10-man squad of Dire Avengers. I was playing them in Bealtan. I had Guide and Doom up, and I hit them on 2 different versions of a 1 CP strat for exploding 6s, and my dice popped off. And I think my 33 shots turned into like 70 shots and wounds. And it was just obnoxious. It was against I don't even remember what it was. It was like a big thing, and he had rolled it out thinking that, haha, nothing will ever kill this. And I'm like, bet. We were both shocked. And then I was happy and he was sad, and it was just, it was awesome.
You got to farm the tears. Farm the tears.
There you go.
I think that's like 50% of playing Eldar.
Farming tears?
Farming tears.
Keeping track of your dice.
Do you have a negative memory? I know you probably don't have any negative memories of 9th, but what's the closest?
Sure he does. Sure he does. His negative might be one of my positive ones. I was there when One Wound Chaos Space Marines fucking beat Eldari, boy. That's one of my fondest.
Was it a Black Legion army?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Good. I got this bad problem of I think that stems because in 7th edition I power gamed as hard as you could get. And people used to bitch about like, oh, I'm playing Arthur again. We'll see what bullshit he's got. And so after that, I stopped power gaming as hard as I could, and I started playing like pet lists and things that were good, but not as good as they could be.
Did you say pet list?
Yeah, like a pet choice, like playing playing like a Warwalker because you think they're cool, not because they're fucking optimized, right?
Also narrative.
Gotcha.
And so I rolled up to a house tournament I hosted, and then I rolled up to like 2 more tournaments. And not only did I not win Best Painted at them, and did I get completely fucking robbed, I went on like this 12-game losing streak, and I lost to some of the worst players known to man. Just like absolute dog chaos players. Just like scum of villainy, fucking wretched. Like I don't even know. I think they breathe out of their mouth. some real mouth breathers.
Subhuman creatures.
Wow.
And I lost a bill, and that was really the worst of it.
Thank you for making me not a part of that.
That was going to down to a very dark hole there, Arthur.
It was getting real specific. I was like, God damn.
Pour himself a drink now.
It was a dark time.
Bill, I know you only had a short run in 9th, but were there some highs and lows in there?
There were. All jokes aside, I did really enjoy playing Arthur Zeldari. That was fun. It was kind of like a big kick back into 9th for me. I didn't have a ton of 9th games. You know what I actually really did enjoy too was the Hallowtide, even though I fucked up my own model. And
what happened there? What happened there? Tell the story.
That's a good one.
Oh God! So staying up super late, and I ended up.
No, you're not selling it. Bill is so committed to playing fully fucking painted. The guy stays up till like 4 a.m. to paint like one model, when every other guy under the sun would just throw some random Chaos Terminator in there and be like, "Yeah, that's my boy, Tech Marine."
It's true. So, yeah, I was very committed to playing fully painted. I ended up breaking off power fists off my Cataphract Terminators. I had the accursed weapons, right? Power swords. So I was painting those up. I painted up a couple of my Obliterators, and I painted up a really nice kick-ass looking Master Possession. And I was up till about 1 a.m. It was hardcore. I had to be up early, you know. Because as I'm going to bed, I was like, holy fuck, I forgot to paint another Obliterator. The left side of my brain was kind of gone, so I had to wake up in the morning, and real early, as I'm running up the stairs, the Master of Possession fell off my tray that I was holding stuff on, and immediately got crushed under my foot.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sucked. So I'm like, oh fuck, I can't salvage this. Like, what am I going to do? Okay, I'll just sub in this Sorcerer, which kind of cut me inside a little bit. Anyways, went to the table, painted my Obliterator, finished off, made those swords look really cool.
Sure did.
Went to the event, just right out to lunch though. But still had a lot of fun playing in it. It was a lot of good time. I made myself a cheat sheet, tried to kind of walk my way through, and I say walk as if it was an elegant thing. It was more like fumble fuck my way through my games. But everybody who I played was really cool to deal with and talk to, which was nice. That was a 2-dayer, I believe.
Yep.
So first day, I think I played 2 games and then I bailed because my brain just wasn't there. And then I came back day 2, finished it out.
You did.
It's really good.
You did.
That was a lot of fun. And then I had fun at the Ryan McLeod Gaming Memorial before he set off to helicopter school.
That's not the full name of it.
Guess. What was the full name?
Can you tell us, Arthur?
That was as good as I got. I knew it was something like that.
Oh man, I think Scotty has it memorized.
It's Ryan, Deborah, Emmanuel, Scott Beaudry at gmail.com McLeod Memorial Tournament. So
Annual.
Very nice. Annual.
Yeah. Annual, yeah. I do remember Bill coming to me that morning of Hallowtide, and there was no life in his eyes at all. It was
fucking glazed
yeah,
over.
He was completely dead. Physically and mentally, he was dead. I remember I actually played you because I needed to ringer. I was running.
Oh, yeah.
But I played you first game because I was like, Bill, we're going to ease you into this one. We're gonna take a couple hours. You and me, we're going to knock back some coffees. And but yeah, you were great. So you bounced back hard on that one. So good job.
It was a lot of fun.
Should have got him an espresso that day.
Yeah, that would have probably helped. And in all honesty, like kind of lows for 9th, I can't actually say I've had really that many. If any.
Losing to Andy.
Well, that was definitely a thing. But you know what? I learned more about my army in that particular game, the Drukhari, at that point, than I even realized was what their shtick was.
Have you ever even won a game with your Drukhari?
I've only played one game with the Jakari, man.
You're not going to leave an edition never having won in a game with a faction.
That's true. I'm hoping to redeem myself Thursday.
Holy fuck! I'm going to bring the meanest Hail of Doom list ever.
Of course.
And he's going to clock you too.
But it was quite a different feel compared to what you're used to, though, Abel.
Yeah. Don't peek and don't get killed.
Yeah.
I was too aggressive, and I aggressively deployed up like right in Andy's face. I learned flamers are still a thing. They hurt really bad, and Jakari do not like to get attacked first because it kind of.
If it makes you feel any better, Bill,
put it in the bad side.
Everyone else this last season of Warhammer and the season before have learned that demon flamers are a thing, and they hurt really bad. I think everyone can show you on the doll where demon flamers have touched them.
Yeah, they hit hard. I was pretty. I was impressed and scared at the same time.
And that's the nerf profile.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
You have the right attitude, though, right? Which was that, like, you know, you did learn a ton, and you can learn a ton out of a loss. So
yeah, absolutely. That was kind of, I guess, another positive for me is every game, win or lose, I learned a shit ton. There were tons of fun just kind of going through them all. Really just tried to hit it with, very open-minded and learn as much as I can. In the movement phase, honestly, it felt like you're cheating so much, like with all the movement manipulation you can do, and then fight phase consolidating. That's probably one of the hardest things for me to get my head around that. But yeah, it was lots of fun. I enjoyed 9th quite a bit, so looking forward to 10th.
I think I'll touch on something actually that Arthur kind of referenced a little bit there, with just my memories of 9th, or the way it will sit in my memories, a week or two from now. And that is to say, I think my best and worst memories are tied to the same thing. I was actually just looking, on Sunday, just on Sunday night. I think it turns out, pending one or two more games, I have 248 games of 9th that I ended up playing altogether.
Wow.
So it was pretty good over the couple of years there. And that the thing that I think I liked the most is really that it was, to my memory, the best balance we have had. Which is not to say it was always balanced. But the main thing is that, like, when I look back on it, is I, especially competitively, like in events, I exclusively played armies that were at best pulling like a 50% win rate in the meta, usually a little worse, sometimes a lot.
You were
worse.
never pulling the 66% win rate armies at their time, right?
No. Well, I never got one. I did have one. AdMech did, but the problem with AdMech is that we were right still in the heart of COVID, right? So there were parts of the world where you could get events, but in Edmonton there really wasn't. But in any case, going to all those events with those armies, I basically never felt like I couldn't win. And that's not the be all to end all of balance, for sure. But it's a pretty strong indicator that there were times, sometimes against some pretty good players, sometimes against armies that were overtuned. It wasn't to say it was perfectly balanced all the time. There were armies that needed to get nerfed. But I very rarely ever was like, well, fuck. Like, what can I do to win this game? Like, is there a way? Is there a path? Short of just, rolling nothing but sixes for 3 hours. So that, to me, will be, especially, after what I saw some of 8th and 7th, that for me will be something that sticks out. And hopefully will be a feature in 10th as well. We'll see. And there were some tougher times where things got a little hairier, but, if I were to make one comment on 9th, looking back, that would be it. The worst memories I have were to my mind, 2 games I think I played the whole edition, which, to counteract everything I just said, I have no idea how I could have won. And they were both versus Tyranids before they got nerfed. And both times I was playing AdMech at basically the lowest possible point that you could play AdMech at. So it was bad. It was bad. But this was very, very tiny little islands. in a very vast sea of, like I said, almost 250 games. I might try to fit 2 more games in just to hit 250 for the edition.
Can we talk in just a sec about what we think the most broken on release, or like the most problematic like army was?
That might be a long form discussion. We might need to write that out.
Well, just your hot take.
Oh, we're flashing the panning this, eh?
Yeah.
Like I have to pick one unit, or like
one army, the most broken army at some point in the edition for you.
The most broken army on release that never really got played was Votann. Unnerfed Votann would have obliterated everything, but they literally nerfed it before anybody got to play it. That anybody actually played, I would actually say, I think it was Tyranids. I know that there were a few that got pretty up there that, it was...
I think Tyranids were worse than Harlequins?
Yes. Harlequins, the pony only had a few tricks.
Okay.
The Tyranids showed us that you could fucking shoot that horse, and man, he just kept coming back. So...
In my humble opinion, before we go back to your 250 games, was Tau.
You think?
On release Tau with that unnerfed Montcalm and those cheap crisis suits. Those were the games I played where I was like, it's not possible.
For them to win.
Yeah, for me to win.
Well, there's the different army perspectives there for you. Bill feels that way about Chaos Daemons.
Well, or on the topic of other editions, what was the most broken army of any edition? Like, hot take that you played.
Jesus. Probably like that on release 6th edition Necrons that came out
really?
like, right with the launch of 6th edition too. Yeah, man, you had those like 8 fucking flyer lists that like right when snap shooting was invented, like you could literally only hit them on 6s.
And back then, despite what GW says now, there was no rerolls, right? Like rerolls were rare.
There was not many. And like that list, like if you didn't have it, it changed the meta for months. Like, and I mean, I know lots of things changed the meta. This hard changed the meta, right? So that would be my guess. There was that 8th edition Iron Hands stuff was pretty nasty. That was pretty bad. Leaf Blower in 5th was a thing. But
Billy, Andy?
Oh, it's been so long.
You guys are synced up. Well, what's the most broken on-release thing in 30k Heresy? Maybe that's
they're gonna say Custodes or Thousand Sons.
Yep.
No,
what?
For 2.0, honestly, the army that sticks on my mind of just being a little bit too over the top is Dark Angels. The Lion is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's an auto 8-inch charge. Hits on pretty much 3s all the time. And if not 2s. And then wounds on 2s because of some Fleshbane bullshit sword. And I don't really dig the mechanics of the Lion, I'll be honest. I love the Dark Angels army. The fluff is cool. Luther's Dark Angels for the win. But as far as like overtuned for rules and stuff, I would lean Dark Angels. I am sad to say that Imperial Fists are probably not too far behind. They've gotten a lot of love in 2.0, and they're just really, really overdone in some instances. So, yeah.
Andy?
There's more of a few units that are more, I guess, broken compared to like armies. Ultramarines, Fulminteris are one of them. The Imperial Fists, what are those guys called, Bill? Your
Phalanx Warders.
Shield dudes?
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah.
Like you can build armies around those units, and yeah, they're broken.
Are they the ones that reroll saves, and people want to reroll the worst save because it has a better mathematical chance?
Yeah,
essentially, yeah.
You have a pretty much a rerollable 4+ invulnerable save or a 3+ power armor save. So you'll do the 4+ rerollable.
Yeah.
Then you can stack a apothecary in there for a feel no pain save after.
But I do agree with Bill though with the Dark Angels. you've seen enough of them in the community, just in general. Like, they have some really, really good hard hitting rules, and then on top it off, their Primarch, right?
Well, I got good news, because Lion's going to be fucking douchebag in 10th edition 40k too.
He'll be hardcore, yeah, he will be. Will be.
So,
how are you going to put him down?
It, though?
How are you going to put the Lion down?
How am I going to put him down?
Yeah, intense.
I have asked this question.
I'll tell you.
D cannons.
Problem is, you still got to get within 12 inches of him, right? And that's the problem, is that as soon as you're within 12 inches of the Lion, you have exactly one shooting phase to put this to an end. Because after that, he's in combat.
And yeah, he'll take you down.
D cannons.
I mean, you're not wrong. They definitely can do it. So,
Do I have to
do it
say
again?
it again?
did I stutter?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
The cannons.
How would you do it?
That's what it's gonna sound like when all 9 are thundering over. Oh, did you come out of your deployment zone? The cannons. Did you want to play the game? The cannons.
Too bad for you.
Scotty kept bitching for listeners out there. Scotty kept bitching about how egregious the D cannon datasheet is, and like, we don't know points yet, but the datasheet's fucking wild, and he just wouldn't stop. He wouldn't stop complaining about it. So I bought 9.
Well done.
Just because
some people, there are Eldar players who know the points, Arthur. So
true, yeah.
You know what? On that, time for the Arthur's hot take segment.
Zoom in on his face. Zoom in on his face.
You guys remember Yukon Jack's "Shut My Big Yap"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here it is, but a little bit less white and angry. Magic the Gathering has done something wonderful in that it playtests things years in advance. And they have a iron tight, do not fucking leak shit, or they send the crusade after them. And like, they do not fuck around. And there are not leaks about future cards publicly. I am sure in elite circles that info still gets out. Now, the people that playtest Magic in advance, they cannot play on the Pro Tour. Now, the Magic Pro Tour is a bit of another thing, because like, once you make the Pro Tour, you're kind of on Pro Tour, and then you're Louis Scott Vargas for life, or Brad Nelson, or any of these other big names who have never left the Pro Tour, and they just get paid to make appearances and really sell the game and kind of sell that YouTube content creation idea that anyone can do it. But Warhammer doesn't have a Pro Tour. Not like that. Not where you get paid for winning. Not seriously. You win the LVO, you're not taking home bank, right? But all these content creators that get access to playtest rules, they still get to play in all these events. And they get, in 40k. And then they get access to info and points costs and data sheets and rules and all of that way before everyone else to playtest it. Now, I am sure that to some extent that playtesting is effective. And I'm sure to some extent it's fucking not at all, because we look at Votan's release and like, you can't tell me they playtested that.
What happened?
And like, how far in advance are they playtesting? But they have access to the most powerful thing, information, and they still get to play in tournaments. And to what extent this is infiltrating circles of your local GTs, we don't know. There are rumors about players here in Western Canada that are part of that playtest circuit that get access to advanced rules points, who have won tournaments here. So is that fair? We got tournaments rolling out in July. There's 2 of them. There's 2 GT level tournaments. One's a team tournament. One is a GT that's pretty prestigious in Edmonton, hometown. I want to win hometown. Scotty wants to win hometown. We don't have pre-access to rules. We are playing at a disadvantage to people that do.
Yeah,
I don't think that's right.
Like Bill mentioned a little earlier, the thing is that it is like, because GW is historically so bad at playtesting, it is good for them to have people in the community to lean on for feedback. Because like you said, Bill, if you want to know if something's busted, give it to some players and ask them to fuck it up. and they will.
And they'll bust it. That's the best way to do it, I agree.
Which is good. But the flip side to that, of course, is that you then have to keep in mind what happens with those players. And, if you're a bigger game, like, say, Magic, where there's a lot of money in it, you can do that without having to tap necessarily the actual players who are trying to play competitively in your game. Or you can hit the retired guys or whatever, right? With 40k, we're still at the point, I think 40k is building towards that. All of 9th kind of felt like a big glow up community-wise, and with the way that GW interacts with the community, especially compared to how they've been the last few editions. But yeah, we all see it where, there's YouTube channels or semi-pro kind of teams or whatever. Even maybe not so pro, like you were mentioning. We have people here in Western Canada who are very good players, but you wouldn't necessarily know as a household name, who are apparently getting access to this stuff. And they might not have gotten access to it from GW. They might have got it from somebody. So
sort of...
But you get the idea. Yeah. But you get the idea where it is problematic that some people, especially right when there's a big change, like 10th edition, or at the start of the seasons that we had at 9th, some of these guys are getting access to the rules, all the rules, a month ahead, 2 months ahead, whatever. And yeah, that does prepare them better than other players. And if you're not super into the competitive stuff, it really doesn't matter. But if you are, you end up going like, well, you can't get, games are hard to get in, and it's not a short game. You can probably play 1 or 2 in a day if you're just practicing. So every bit of time matters. But that is kind of its own philosophical discussion on what we do about that. My personal take would be that we just hope that the game keeps growing to the point where GW doesn't have to tap people to play test their game who are simultaneously looking to play at the biggest events in the world. But that's also, how much can you really do about it from our position, right?
Well, you run your own circuit.
You do.
And you create this a series of the greatest tournaments underneath a very particular yellow and white and black banner. And then you make stipulations that if you're a playtester, you can't win the Trident Wargaming circuit.
Yeah. You have a 3-pointed logo for it, maybe, I see where we're going with this.
All jokes aside, that is not currently a stipulation, but...
It's not. It's not.
And that's my hot take. That one's for Ryan. That one's for Ryan.
That one, we told him we'd do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay,
for sure.
Put it in a 30k perspective. We'll stay here for a sec. You guys know some guys who are 30k playtesters, who maybe were competitive players. Is it fair to roll up to the same event if it's and I know 30k is not currently competitive? Is it fair to roll up to an event with a guy who had pre-access to rules?
No,
of course not.
It can definitely lead to feels bad, right? I don't think it matters what system it is, be it 30k or 40k. It would definitely lead to feels bad just because it kind of feels like you're almost set up for a gotcha at some point in the game. And, people who've listened before kind of know my stance on where I'm at with gotchas and
we had no episode on it.
That's true, we did. So...
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't dig it myself. So
straight up, not really fair.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
On
a happier note, on a note of something that'll make everyone happy, let's touch on the 10th Community Day that you're going to be running, Bill.
That's true. Yes. So June 24th is going to be the Leviathan release date. We are going to be having a mini Trident social over at Comic Fever. We're going to be doing some, obviously releasing Leviathan, and guys will be coming to pick up their boxes. Probably do like a cake and some beverage, maybe even tailgate it outside of Fever, and just enjoy the day, have some fun. It's nice when we get these big
Crack some beers in the parking lot?
Yeah, you could. North side, man. So, you can always kind of roll out, enjoy. I know we did.
Trident Wargaming does not condone drinking and driving.
No, we don't. Uber, cab, call Arthur. He'll drive you home. It'll be fine. But yeah, no, in all honesty, yeah, it's always nice kind of busting out these little social events. We've done them for previous episodes, previous editions, and it was always a lot of fun. So definitely, if you are out and about, come stop in, grab yourself a piece of 10th edition cake, and yeah, definitely come and partake.
It's a great idea for people with these edition release box sets. We always have this thing with people trying to sell half the box, right? Or trade half the box. Listen, you're going to have a couple dozen people coming to pick up their box. If you happen to be there at the same time, you might find somebody to trade with right then and there.
Yeah, you could swap sprues instead of spit. Great.
Yep. Or both. We don't judge.
No.
Bill, I will trade you my Terminators for the rest of your box.
No,
you don't even want to hear my offers anymore.
I'll take your Marines for the knit stuff. No, I kind of want to sell the knit stuff. I just want the Marines and the one book. I don't need double sets. I got enough shit.
Bill, hear me out. $50 for the Drukari.
That's $3 more than Arthur, and I like that, but it's still not enough. No, you need another 0 at the end.
I'll wait till you're done painting them first. You don't have.
I was just gonna say, offer them 55 because they're painted.
That fucker in the corner's waiting too.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
all right.
Base them like my army, and then I'll buy them off you.
Yeah.
Here's as we wrap up. Something else we should talk about is the next possible place you can get your TWC.
Yes. The next two places.
The next two places you can get your TWC. So, by the time this episode airs, sign-ups are coming pretty close to closing on the Trident Wargaming League Summer League. The Summer League is going to have one game of 9th, just because we don't have 10th stuff yet. And then, hell, if when you get to that game, you want to play 10th, if it's so, play 10th. That's totally cool. And following that, it's just straight 10th edition. It's $20 to play. It's going to get you 6 summer games. It's going to get you a chance at TWC points. They're hard to come by. This is an easier way to come by them. And the best part is you're going to get the chance to meet Warhammer players, to make new best friends. And there's bonus points if you drink beer at our club while you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the only place you can score TWC points. What's the next place you can score TWC points?
Also this summer.
Yes.
Basically the premier Trident event, Iron Within. Bill, why don't you tell them about that?
Iron Within is going to be taking place in the later portion of August 19th and 20th. It is going to be a 40-player GT, 10th edition, and it's going to be, 5 games over 2 days of sweet 10th edition action. So you definitely won't want to miss out on that. There's going to be some pretty solid prizes. We're also going to be doing we're doing the season wrap with the, what's the word I'm looking for? Best in Faction, I believe.
No, that'll be next summer.
Oh, sorry, next summer, yeah. As we get more data for that.
Yeah.
But yes, that'll be a precursor, basically, for what we're doing. But it's sure to be a good time. Obviously, hosting at the venue that we always do. It's never a bad time there, so come down, check that out. There's only 12 spots left, actually, for that. Being a decent chunk of time away is pretty good. I also wanted to say... Yeah, get in now. Don't delay, because when we're maxed out, that's it. It's over. I also wanted to touch base just on that Edmonton Summer League. It's at 34 players, which is awesome for a summer league. Like, there's some people ready for blood.
You know what? You play the Summer League, you can play Andy. You can play Bill. You can play Andy. Huh?
Yeah, that was my thoughts. Yeah, honestly, the EWL leagues are the best place to meet new people, I think, because compared to
I met my wife there.
I met his wife there too. The events, it's such a fast-paced environment, and there's always lots going on, which isn't a bad thing, but it doesn't leave a ton of room for the socialization side of things always. The league is amazing. You get paired up with what I would argue are some of the best people in 40k that you will find. Edmonton's got an amazing community.
Like Andy.
And and you get to meet these new people, and it's going to be even better this time around because we're all going into 10th, so we're all going to be learning this game together. And, as Arthur mentioned, it still is tied to the TWC. This particular league will be wrapping up in, I think, the first week of September. So for those of you who have back to school or back to work sort of stuff, don't worry. This particular league will wrap up just in time for you. You can still grab some TWC points. You get to meet some new people. And, cost to entry is very low. So it's just an awesome way to get kind of a nice mix of both casual and competitive 40k.
Perfect way to touch base with 10th and kind of start your journey.
Bill, have you played in a league before? Once, right? Once or twice in one of the EWLs.
Twice. Yeah.
Andy, have you ever played? Is this taking your EWL virginity?
I've played in leagues before, just not your EWL. Remember, I've only had one game of 9th. Never didn't really play 8th, so
there's all a 7th league too. That's where it came from. Maybe 6th.
7th was a tournament.
A dark time.
It was a tournament that ended up with me and Bill being in second last and last, and that was it. So
remember that.
I got punished by some Eldar that can fire from behind cover indiscriminately on my Imperial Guard. Yeah, and that was that. So
D-cannons.
Yeah, that was that. That was the goodbye to 40k for that round. So
yeah, because I remember that right after that, Bait-Ab kind of started to kick off, and then shortly after that, it was Heresy.
Yeah. But now we're back. So
yeah,
we're back, baby.
Shady's back.
The real Slim Shady.
Oh, jeez. So
awesome.
It should be good. Should be a lot of fun. And yes, you'll be able to play me. So
well, meet the myth and legend in person.
Yeah.
You know what? I've actually had the pleasure of playing Andy once, and he beat me too. So I think Andy's record against both Bill and I is the same. Scotty, have you ever lost to Andy? It's a fucking treat.
He got the full Monty.
I guess I'm next up. Guess I'm next on the chopping block. So
don't worry, I'll be nice.
Maybe I'll catch him this summer in the league.
He'll spit on it first.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just great.
That's just wonderful.
That pretty much rounds up our episode. Definitely much appreciated. Thanks for dropping in and listening to us chat for the last hour and a half-ish. Big shout out to our patrons, Frederick, Dustin, and now Chris. Without you guys' help, we wouldn't be able to host such obscene shows. So we definitely appreciate it a lot.
We need the bail money.
Yeah, well, yeah, no doubt. But yeah, if you're interested in supporting Trident or reading up on some of the events, please check out the link in the description. All the info will be in there. And yeah, much appreciated again. We will catch you next time for some sweet 10th edition action.
The D cannons.
See ya.
I gotta get this TWC butt plug out. You guys have a good night.